Welcome to Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. Thank you for coming. And I decided the topic, are you letting age stop you? Because I was having this incredible conversation with this other coach that I work with on a weekly basis. And she's turning 43 and I'm in my 60s. I won't give away the exact age. But it's like we had the same conversation going on. And so I thought, wow, it doesn't really matter what age we are. We can have that conversation stop us. So I'm inviting you to look at what conversation are you having that stops you from getting what you want. I'm Wendy B. Wendy Bergen. I have a podcast, Thriving at 60, THRIVINGATSIXTY. I have over 25,000 followers. I'm in 30 different countries. And I am a speaker and a coach and an author of 2 books. One is Living Your Passions. I wrote with James Malinchuk and a bunch of other thought leaders. And then my best-selling book, Getting Unstuck, 30 Ways to Turn Your Limiting Barriers into Clarity, Freedom, and Power. It's on Amazon right now in paperback, on sale for $10.95 US. And the Kindle book is on sale for $1.95 on Amazon, $1.95 American. And if you don't have a Kindle, you can download the Amazon app and you can read it on any of your phones. I don't have Kindle and I'm reading it on my phone. So just so you know. And the awesome thing about the book is it's got 30 short chapters and questions at the end. The longest chapter is 3 pages, the shortest is 1. And my promise to you is that if you get the book, you will move forward in any area of life that you're stuck. So thanks for listening, and let's talk about, are you letting age stop you? And if you're watching the replay, please make a comment so I know it's bringing you value. And if you're watching it now, I would love for you just to say hello even and ask questions, answer questions. Like, I love it when there's interactions. And, to me, don't let doing Facebook Lives stop you. If no one's interacting, just do them, because I don't know how many people afterwards tell me, oh, I watched your video. They never let on they watched my video, and we're talking, they go, oh yeah, I've been following you for 6 months or whatever, have no idea that I'm making value to them because they're not saying anything on the Facebook Live. But just trust that if your commitment is to bring value, that you will bring value, okay? And so, my question to you is, what have you dreamed of that you're not doing? For me, I dreamed for, just a minute, I'm going to set my clock because I don't want to go over a certain amount of time. So it's a warning. I dreamed for years, like as a kid in 10 years old, reading Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. I dreamed that I would write some books. And it wasn't until I was in my 60s that I did, and I've written 2, and now I'm a bestseller in 1 book. So Getting Unstuck. So it's like pretty exciting when you have dreams and you fulfill on them. And I'm a believer that write them down and then look at what are the actions you're taking towards having them happen. So, the question to ask yourself is, what have you dreamed of that you're not doing? And don't make it wrong, like don't judge it, but just notice, like, oh, what are the conversations you're having that are limiting you? Because in my book it says 30 ways to turn your limiting barriers. So when we have conversations that disempower us, those are limiting. And sometimes we don't see they're limiting, we think they're real. All right? So, some people have a conversation about they're getting too old for university. You're never too old. I have a sister that just turned 65 this year, and she is starting a university course. And when you're 65, I don't think you have to pay. In Canada, anyways, you don't have to pay for your university courses. Don't let waiting till you're 65 stop you. If you're in your 40s and you want to go to university, figure it out. Get a scholarship or whatever. Enroll people and giving you the money. I don't know, but don't let it stop you. Because I went back to university in my 40s, and I've never regretted it. Taking certain classes. You may want to do certain classes, and maybe time is a factor, maybe money is a factor. I know lately I've been thinking, when it opens up and it's safer for us, I would love to take dancing lessons. And they're doing dancing lessons online, but I would rather do dancing, and I think that's great. I think it's fabulous. If it continues this way, I will take, if 6 months down the road or a year down the road, we are not, we're still social distancing, I will take dancing lessons online, and you can remind me of that. Because if I don't write it down, I'll forget. And I love painting. And this last couple of years, I've in a huge learning curve, so I haven't, one of the conversations that stopped me is, where am I going to find time? Hi, Doug. Where are we going to find time to do painting? Like, I've right now, I had a conversation that stopped me, was I'm not techie enough. And I've just, this last year, enrolled in a couple of courses, and I'm hiring people to help me get through the courses because I have lacked my mastery on the computer. There's this gap from where I am to where I want to be. And what I invite people to look at is, don't let your lack of knowledge stop you, because I frequently have done that. And I just signed up for a course I'm starting tomorrow, and I'm clear on my own. It'll be confronting for me, because it's to do with techie stuff that I'm not familiar with yet. I'm not practiced with yet. So I had another conversation with someone who is practiced in that. Now they're charging me more than I intended or expected to pay. But I thought, no, if I'm going to invest this kind of money in the course, I'm going to invest in myself, in having a tutor to tutor me. And so I'm paying for a tutor to tutor me for the next 3 months, even though the course is only 3 weeks. I'm going to be masterful at the end of 3 months, or at least be comfortable in practicing what I'm learning, right? So I guess I want to learn how to do online work so that I can sell courses and do my coaching online, right? So that's what I'm doing. So again, my question is, where are you stopped? And are you willing to take powerful promise actions to realize your personal objective? And one way that I'm willing, okay, to take powerful promise actions, I'm promising to do the homework. I've hired an accountability tutor, and he has before I hired him, I told him what I wanted to learn from these courses I'm taking, and I got a commitment from him that at the end of the 3 months, I would know what I was doing. He promised that. So I got him to promise that. I texted him, and he promised that in writing. So, because that was where it was like, if I'm going to invest this kind of money, right? So even though I don't know what I'm doing, I'm taking powerful promised actions to fulfill and realize my personal objective is to be able to go online and cause courses and have clients be with me. And the other thing that it takes when we're doing something new, at least I'll share my experience, is and I wrote these down, as practicing daily interrupting my disempowering conversations. In fact, I'm taking a course learning how to teach people how to interrupt their disempowering conversations, and teaching them to have power and velocity in the areas that they haven't in the past. So you want to practice daily interrupting your disempowering conversations, and first you have to discover what they are. And one way to discover them is to notice if you're not in action, or you're stopped, or you're distracted and you're doing other things that aren't keeping you on track. And one of my conversations is, like, when I get confronted, is, why bother? What's the use? I'm never going to get this. And it's there a lot. So I have, one way I interrupted is I have an accountability partner that we both are committed to interrupting our disempowering conversations. So we have a phone call for 15 minutes every morning at 7:15. And we interrupt those conversations, and we and support each other. And commit to taking promised actions that day to interrupt them. And we commit to texting each other briefly if we're stopped, and if we can't seem to interrupt it, that we text and say this is urgent, and have a 5-minute conversation. Because I notice as soon as I share something with someone who's committed like me in what they're up to, the conversation is already interrupted. So my question to you is, who could be an accountability partner that won't buy your story or resignation? They're just there to support you and what you say you will do. So her and I have agreed to 15 minutes. Sometimes it might be a bit long, but generally it's a 15-minute conversation to empower each other to take our promised actions and to interrupt any of the disempowering conversations, because they're going to be there automatically. And to practice interrupting stories, like any conversation we have is made up. We made it up, even though sometimes we don't think we made it up. No, I didn't make it up. Yeah, you made it up. So if you have disempowering conversations, you made those up. So you can make up empowering conversations. So that's what's so. And next week, I think I'm going to do read a chapter in my book about recognizing you're the author of your story. And it's a little story about how when my mom died, I got really disempowered, and how I was able to, using some of these practices, create an empowering context so that I could move forward after my mother died. And it was by recognizing that everything's a story, and we can't get away from stories, and stories either empower us or disempower us, and we get to choose which story we want to own. So this is, I leave you with, is what is one new practice, okay, this week, that you can invent or take on that will eventually become a new empowering habit. And mine was that starting this last 2 weeks, I've taken on a 15-minute call at 7:15 to 5 days a week to take on empowering myself in an area where I'm confronted and disempowered. And so thank you for listening. Again, you can go to my webpage, wendybergen.com. Let me know, or you can text me on the comments. I'd love to hear the comments. Did this resonate with anybody? What are you taking on? What would you like to hear? Yeah, and if you want a 30-minute discovery session with me, discover what's stopping you. It's a complimentary 30-minute discovery session, discovering what's stopping you and what's one obstacle that's in your way, that if we got that out of the way, you could move forward. Wouldn't that be cool? And I just love coaching people. And so, go to my webpage and get a complimentary 30-minute, book a complimentary 30-minute session with me, discovery session, and let's have you move forward. Thank you. And if you haven't bought it yet, my book is on Amazon. Hi, Michelle. I'm Getting Unstuck, 30 ways to turn your limiting barriers into clarity, freedom, and power. It's on sale on Amazon right now in paperback. It's on sale on Amazon in the Kindle version, and the Kindle version, you can if you don't have Kindle, you can download Amazon's app, and you can read the book without a Kindle on your phone or your computer or your iPad. And it's on sale right now in the digital version for $1.95 American, which is I think $2.83 Canadian, and it's on sale for $10.95 American, which is $15.27 Canadian. Well worthwhile. Depends on whether you want to be holding a book or if you want to be, swiping through your phone. So thank you for listening. Please, if you watch this after, make a comment. Let me know I brought you value. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you next week. And next week, we are going to look at recognizing you are the author of that story. Thanks for listening, and talk to you next week.